Already got one person in the chat. That's pretty sweet. Managed to fix this webcam. It died like right before we got started, or I got started. Fortunately, it's just me tonight. Hayden could not join us tonight, so it's just gonna be me. Looks like we're having some minor issues quality-wise on the YouTube side, but as far as the camera quality on this side goes, it looks like we're doing pretty okay. Yeah, I've had my experiences with the 3.8. I've had a very similar experience to you. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's been a long weekend to say the least. I just finished editing tomorrow's video. I'm changing the upload schedule on this channel because for some reason I just felt like it. I felt like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays were just a little bit too common. Everyone's doing that now, and I was like, why not change it up? So I'll be uploading Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from now on. I got the idea after accidentally uploading Tuesday's video last week or last Monday or last Tuesday's video last Monday because I forgot to hit scheduled on the little drop down, and I had both of last week's videos done Sunday night, so I was like, well, might as well go ahead and upload those videos once they're finished, and change the schedule around where it's a little bit better with how quick I can knock through a video, and just be able to do that. I really don't know what else to say about it besides that. So pretty much tonight I don't plan on being live terribly long. I haven't had that great of a weekend to start with, and I'm in a lot of pain right now physically and mentally for that matter. I'll elaborate a little bit more in tomorrow's video. Part of it is I'm kind of mopey is because I just finished editing tomorrow's video, which is pretty much all about like my mental health and depression whatsoever and all that stuff because I've put a face on for so long on this channel, and it's time I kind of came clean with everything that's gone on. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff I haven't spoken about, and I feel like it's time to come public with and talk about myself a little bit better and kind of relay just what my life's like behind the scenes because, like I said, I put on a face for pretty much every upload on this channel. Like I've had chronic depression since I was a kid, so uploading videos you have to kind of have a positive attitude, and unfortunately, I'm kind of having a hard time even doing that now. So as far as that goes, yeah, that's tomorrow's video. You guys can stay tuned for that and see it tomorrow. I go into depth on everything, and I'll be able to relay what's gone on and how I'm at this point now. The weekend hasn't been that great. I had a really rough day Friday. I went to the Dallas Classic show in Dallas, Georgia, Saturday, and they kicked me out of parking in the show, which is unusual. They usually let me park in the show, but they decided yesterday to not allow me to park in the show anymore, and I couldn't tell you why. They just were just like, nope, you can't park in here. So I went and parked in the courthouse parking lot, which is where they usually have everyone else park. So that was a bit of a kick in the nads, I guess you could say. Which is funny because they let Hayden park in the show, and I'm not saying this like to smack talk Hayden or anything. Hayden's my best friend right now. But it's a classic car show. It's like for muscle cars, like Novas, Chevelles, Mustangs, and they let a Honda park in there, which I thought was rather interesting because at least I have a domestic car. I mean, I thought for sure they're gonna let a early 2000s import in, they're gonna let in a early 2000s domestic in, and they chose not to. I mean, I guess the sports car mindset pulls into play there because the S2000 is a proper sports car. The Explorer is a truck. So I guess that maybe had something to do with it at the time. But what's interesting is after that, they let in a couple other like mini trucks that were import mini trucks like Frontiers and like hard bodies, Hiluxes, that kind of demographic. So I was like, that's weird. They're letting in import mini trucks. They won't let in a domestic mini truck. And it looks like, because we did see Michael's car there yesterday, we didn't get to see him. He hasn't spoken to us in a while, so I don't know, like if he's um, does not want to hang out with us or what's the case. But we saw his car yesterday, and since Hayden isn't here tonight, I have to be the moderator tonight, or Dalton, because I think Dalton's one of the other moderators. Anyway, but like I was saying, it just was odd that they just wouldn't let me get in. And the show was nice nonetheless. I still enjoyed my time there. I, for some random reason, carried around my stabilizer because I filmed a couple like just B-roll shots for tomorrow's video when I was there. It's literally right in the beginning of the video. You see for like a total like 16 seconds, and then there's nothing the rest of the video besides just the talking. I managed to pull the old DB Power Cam back out. I actually broke the waterproof case for this thing, which is what it hooks up to for the head strap, the chest mount that I used to have. I don't know where my chest mount went. Kaysen borrowed it for a video, and I think either I lost it or he accidentally kept it, which is fine because it's just a chest mount. It's not like I use it very often. I primarily will use the head strap. But anyway, yeah, that's been that today. Today was better. I felt a little bit better today than I did the earlier part of this weekend, and it's but today still didn't like it wasn't like a full recovery or anything. I'm probably still gonna be upset for be like this probably a good week or two until I figure out what I need to do, if I need to go and take medicine and get back on medication, or if I need to just go see a counselor, or if I can just manage to pull myself out of this, which I just don't know if I can do anymore. It's been so just wrecked to a point where I don't know if I can do that. I can physically drag myself out of it. So I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best too, but I think as it sits right now, if I feel the same way the rest of this week, it's probably gonna be time to go back on meds. And I never wanted to. I never wanted to go back on meds. I've been off of meds since I was about 9, maybe 10. So, I mean, I'd rather not get back on meds. I really wouldn't. But if it's the only way to improve my quality of life and to make me feel better and not have to constantly struggle, then it will be how I need to go about it. And like I said, I elaborate more of what's happened behind the scenes, and this has been a all year affair. This has been like since 2017 affair. I guess you could say it's been like my depression's been there like in full force since 2017. I've just done a really good job hiding it, and it's just one thing comes after another, and it just adds up. And a lot of that stuff I talk about tomorrow's video is pretty minor, but it's added up alongside all the other crap I've dealt with the last year or two. So it's been kind of just smacking me in the back of the head repeatedly. And, like I said, I'll elaborate more in tomorrow's video, so stay tuned for that, because that's going to be where all of the magic stuff happens, I guess. And like I said, I pulled out the POV camera again, and I know the mic quality on that camera is hot garbage, but I'm going to try to incorporate the POV videos a bit more, because I don't know, I've always liked that kind of style. Like ever since I started watching It's Just a Six and how he started doing all that, that's like kind of cool. And I was like, I could try to adopt this and maybe turn it into something cool. So yeah. Someone tried to take control. That's messed up. I really don't, I couldn't get that. I'm pretty protective of who drives the truck, my truck, so it's like I can only imagine how that made you feel. Like I felt like you probably wanted to punch the guy in the face or something like that. But that's I get it though. I mean, my parents joke around all the time about volunteering my truck to like other people drive. I'm just like, no. But that's crazy to me. Oh wow, smoke pot. That's that sucks. But yeah, it hasn't been a fun weekend for me. um, Tomorrow's video is going to be close to about 16 minutes, so there's a lot of stuff I talk about in there, and I edited this one. I actually like put a lot of time into this video to cut it down because it was going to be like close, probably like 17, 18 minutes when it was finished. So I was like, I managed to cut 2 minutes out of it. So I mean, I guess that works. There's a lot of like nonsense clips where I wasn't saying anything, or I was like taking a turn and all that stuff. So I was like cutting that out and trying to shorten it as much as I could. There's a lot of info in that video I talked about, and I wanted to make it as kind of like raw as possible, but not like a raw file was dumped into Premiere and it was edited out, I was rendered out. So, yeah, I mean that's kind of the point I'm at. And if you guys want to see those POV videos, if you want me to bring them back, I will gladly do them. I enjoy doing them, but I mean the only problem is right now there is little to no audio quality on those videos because the built-in camera on the DP Power without the waterproof case, the quality isn't great, but it's better than what it is in the case. In the case, it's like super muffled and it makes it super quiet. Like if I were to be recording right now with this camera, it would be fine. It would be a-okay and there'd be no problem. But for some odd reason, the moment it goes in the case, it's like muffled and be crap. Will the Bronco be a flop or not? I'm torn on it. It depends on what they do with it. If they market it as like a Wrangler competitor, if they market it to take on the Jeeps, I don't think it'll be a problem. I think it'll do fine. But if it's just going to be, as a lot of rumors have said, just that Ford Everest SUV that's on sale in Europe, then just bring it over here and put a Bronco badge on it, it's gonna suck. It's not going to do well. Ford really needs to do the right thing here and keep the Bronco's legacy and do it the right way and make it this hyper off-road SUV kind of deal that it needs to be. So yeah, I honestly, it just depends on what Ford does. And what's weird is it's like some other video games that I like to play. I haven't heard any news on them in a while, so it's like the same story with the Broncos. Like we haven't heard anything about it like confirmed since the name drop happened, when they were like, oh yeah, we're bringing the Ranger and the Bronco back. Don't do what Chevy did the Blazer. Exactly. That's what I'm saying here. Don't pull the Blazer. Chevy missed a huge opportunity with the Blazer. They could have really made a Wrangler competitor. Like, let's just make a crossover. They pulled the Dodge. They did the Dart. You remember how Dodge did the Dart? They brought the Dart back and made it just a little 4-cylinder sedan. When the Dart was like a smaller Charger or Challenger back in the 60s. They just wanted to bring back a very popular nameplate. And that's exactly what Chevy did with the Blazer, and it's kind of disappointing because they really could have made the Blazer another like sweet off-road SUV. And they didn't even have to put a V8 in it. Like literally, if they just done the engine setups they put in the new Blazer, and they just made it a more off-road friendly vehicle, it'd probably be a lot better than it is. Because they made it just this little crossover is what they've done. And to be honest, it's not like the worst thing in the world. It looks pretty okay. I mean, I've seen a few of those RS package Blazers in person, and they look a lot better in the RS trim than they do in the base models. I've seen pictures of the base model Blazers, and I'm like, those aren't my thing. But the RS package at least looks halfway good. Dodge should have just called it Neon. Exactly. For some reason, when it comes down to Dodge, I'm not a big fan of their muscle car lineup. Like I've said in previous streams, I prefer the Mustang, Camaro, and Corvette over the Dodge lineup. And it's mainly due to the weight and the size and the capability of the motors bolt-on wise. Obviously, you throw a supercharger in anything and it will make power, but if you're just going like full bolt-ons or whatever, it's those Dodge motors don't react as well. But with the Neon, it was like, for some reason the SRT4 is like my favorite Dodge product, even though it's pretty much running on a modified Mitsubishi motor. But it was still just this really cool car, and it was like I hunted for some for my first car, but back before I knew how unreliable they were, and my parents were not about having a Neon in the driveway. For some reason, they have like this very bad distaste with the Neon, and it's more Dodge in general now. Because I wanted to get a Dakota for my first truck. If I had had it my way when I was first turning 16, I would have a Dodge Dakota in the driveway instead of the Explorer. But over time, it was just the truck for me, and I moved into it. But there's another truck I looked at too. It was a '95 Sierra 1500 that was the 5.7 and everything. It would have been a monster of a truck for sure. Like right now, if I'd gotten that Sierra instead of the Explorer, it would be, that truck probably have a Pro Charger or a blower on it right now, and it would be a absolute beast of a truck. I hope the Dodge brings back the Dakota. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Now that the Ranger and the Colorado are back, it only makes sense that Dodge is going to come back with the Dakota again. I don't really know how that's going to work properly, if they're going to like manage it properly, if they're going to just botch it. Um, it's like how the first one the Rangers come back. I was like, why are they only doing a 4-cylinder? They could do so much better with just just the V6 option as well, and they skipped it. They were just like, nah. But now that it's come out, it's like, okay, that's not so bad. The V6 option, the 4-cylinders, the 2.3 is pretty good for what it does. It's like Doug Demir said it himself. It was like class leading in some categories, which is impressive to me because I mean it's the smallest motor out of the midsize market right now with the Tacoma and the Colorado and Sonoma the Colorado and Canyon. I almost called it the Sonoma for some reason. But it'd be interesting. I don't think if they did bring back the Dakota though, they do the same thing they did with the like one of the outgoing Dakotas where they put the V8s in them, the 4.7 in them. I doubt that's going to happen. I think that they're going to avoid putting the V8 in. I think in general the V8 mini trucks are out of style and they're probably never going to come back, which is unfortunate because well, besides the fact I don't even think the 4.7's in production anymore. I think literally the smallest V8 Dodge has is the 5.7. So even if they did put a V8 in the Dakota, it'd be a big motor for Dakota, for like a Dakota style truck. Another thing I'm afraid of is them just botching the truck altogether because I feel like right now Dodge is like more focused on their performance cars than they are their SUVs. They're really trying to cater to the enthusiasts now instead of the families like they were a few years back with the like when they revised the Grand Caravan and put all those out, the Journey. They brought back the Durango and all that stuff. They have made it their mission. They had made it their mission at the time to be a family-oriented brand. They'd only put the Pentastar in it. That's what I think. I feel like that if they did bring back the Dakota, they would probably get the 4-cylinder motor or a Pentastar. I don't know the name of the probably the Tiger Shark. That's what I'm thinking of. The Fiat 4-cylinder motor. They'd probably get a Tiger Shark like what's in the Jeep Renegade, or it would get the Pentastar because at least that would only make sense. I doubt they would ever put back a V8 back in the Dakota. It's probably not happening. Like I said, I think Dodge right now is more focused on the enthusiast market because I look at the Ram. The Ram got its update, and I mean, really, all of Dodge's best-selling vehicles have gotten their refresh now. I think really the Challenger is up next. I think that the design has been really it's still in that same generation. It came out in 2008 with the car. While it's a lot better than it was in 2008 and 2009, it's still the same old formula. It's still the same old car underneath. It's still running on the same platform from the old early 2000s Mercedes. So I think Dodge needs to do some modernizing to their platforms and take out that big platform, and they need to I feel like downsizing the Challenger, and I don't know the Charger. I think the Charger is like perfectly fine where it sits as its size. I think that the Charger is just, again, it's on that old platform. I think Dodge needs to put a modern platform underneath it. Dimensions can stay the same for the Charger. I feel like the Challenger is just too big, and that's what weighs it down in the enthusiast market. It's just a big car. So I think that as far as the Challenger goes, it's going to definitely need some downsizing. But I think for the Charger, it's fine how it sits, but I feel like that if it were to really compete and be just like a almost irresistible car, it would need to have a big platform upgrade because I think that early 2000s Mercedes chassis is what's weighing it down, and I feel like that might actually be why it's so heavy because a lot of people say, all the people complain about how heavy the Dodges are, and I think it's because of that. I think it's because of riding an old chassis from the early 2000s from Mercedes out of all places. It's just like it's a big heavy car now. Besides the fact it's a big heavy car because they made that thing ginormous. But would they put the Dakota under Dodge? I feel like if they brought the Dakota back, it would be under Ram because that's what they've done with all their more commercially oriented vehicles. I feel like like they did the Ram CV, which was the Grand Caravan. It was pretty much Grand Caravan panel van. The big Ram van, the ProMaster, stuff like that. The ProMaster City, which is what we used a lot in advance. All of our fleet vehicles were Ram ProMaster Cities. Stuff of that nature. I feel like it would just be the Ram Dakota, which would be weird to say. I'd be more used to saying Dodge Dakota. But it's like the Barracuda. There's been a lot of rumors of the Barracuda coming back for years, and it's like, what would they call it since Plymouth's dead? And it would be, well, probably a Dodge. It'd be the Dodge Barracuda, which would be weird to say, but I feel like the Dakota would be a Ram product due to the fact that it's a commercial vehicle, much like the Ram itself is, and the van line of the Rams. And I feel like that if they don't put it under the Ram name, it'd be awkward. I still don't know why Ram's even its own brand. It was fine as a Dodge. It doesn't make any sense to me that they did that. It was like when they split SRT off into its own brand and made the Viper just an SRT product. Like, yeah, the Prowler, when it was a Plymouth, and then I think it became a Chrysler. Because I remember it did change brands at one point. I can't remember if it went from Chrysler to Plymouth or Plymouth to Chrysler. But, yeah, I doubt it would be a Dodge product. I think it'd be a Ram product. But again, to me, that whole split was stupid. And Dodge should have just kept it under one brand. Kept the Ram as a Dodge truck. It's not a Ram. It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, yeah, what do you got, a Ram? What kind of Ram? I mean, it's just stupid to me. But, yeah, Mopar sometimes just doesn't make sense to me. They really don't. It's kind of their business practices are strange, and like I was saying, while again, I don't really know. Dodge is like, I don't hate Dodge, but I feel like they can make better decisions on the business practice side. But besides that, they're doing fine for themselves. There's no need to be concerned, really. I feel like on the enthusiast side, I feel like, again, if they downsize the Challenger a little bit, switch the platforms up, put them on a new, updated chassis that's not 18 years old, we'll be golden. I actually never knew the PT Cruiser was supposed to be a Plymouth. I thought it was just a Chrysler from the start, but I think that was because well, if I'm correct, the PT Cruiser was unveiled after Plymouth had dissolved, so I think that's why the PT Cruiser is a Chrysler product. It wasn't a Plymouth, because, to my knowledge, again, I think Plymouth dissolved right when the PT Cruiser was coming out. But yeah, that's always been like an interesting concept to me. It was what happened to Plymouth, the whole big split with Chrysler. I don't remember what it was. I want to say it had to do with the bailout, but that wouldn't make sense to me, because you're getting a bailout from the government. You're like, yeah, let's just make even more brands to watch, more CEOs to hire. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened, why that whole split happened, but it was just crazy to me how long it lasted, because I mean, the SRT brand was around for like, what, 2 years, and it was back under Dodge. The day the Challenger's updated is the day it's discontinued. Maybe, who knows? I don't think it'll get discontinued anytime soon. I think it still sells well enough to stay afloat, but it's obvious when it's compared to like the Mustang and the Camaro, it doesn't sell quite as well. And I think that's always been how it's been with the Challenger. I think it's always been behind those two, mainly because a lot of people consider the Challenger more of a full mainstream muscle car than the Camaro and the Mustang, because the Camaro and Mustang are a bit smaller, they're a bit cheaper. And I think that's what happens with it. I think it's just people are like, oh, I want a muscle car. I want a sporty American car. And they think Mustang and Camaro first, because they've been around longer. They didn't leave production out of nowhere. Well, the Camaro did for a short time, but the Challenger it vanished after the 70s. I think it was I think it was still around in the 80s, but that was it. It was gone throughout the 90s. I mean, in the 90s, Dodge seemed more focused on like tuner kind of stuff. I mean, they had the Stealth, they had the Neon. It was like, what happened there? But yeah, I don't know if the Challenger would just get discontinued outright if it got updated. I feel like that the Dodge is probably just going to keep it around. I feel like they're in the if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of stage. It's like the Challenger, while it's outdated, it's still selling. So I doubt Dodge will actually do it. But I feel like if they want the Challenger to be perfect, they're going to have to do an update very soon to the chassis. Not to the exterior and the interior. They've already done that. And it's still not my favorite. I feel like there's still too much hard plastics in that car. Like, I feel like, and that's just an American thing. Even the Corvette has hard plastic in it. But it's like, I feel like at the price point for like the good Challengers, I'm talking about everything above the 5.7, like the 6.4 and the 6.2 cars, you're going to be paying $50,000 to $60,000 and still having hard plastic. And it's the same sort of the Vet. I feel like if the C8 has a lot of hard plastics in it, it better not be over $100,000 base price. Because that's just ridiculous to me. It's like, why put so much hard plastics? And I think when it comes down to the muscle cars right now, I feel like the 6-gen Camaro and the S550 are like battling for like the best interior. And I'm not saying the Challenger is a bad interior. That whole group, the Challenger and the Charger, are a bad interior. I just feel like for the price point you're paying for like the bigger, stronger versions of those two cars, the interior should be a little bit better. And it's just a lot of hard plastics, and I feel like that it's just going to degrade over time, and it's going to be a bit of an eyesore because those dashes are going to crack pretty fast. As long as you but I think as long as you take care of it. Like for example, Michael, he parks his in the garage every night. I mean, he takes very good care of his car. I don't think he'll be having issues with his dash cracking or anything. But like, for the people that don't park it in the garage for whatever reason, I mean, and that goes for any of the American cars. I'm not picking on Dodge in particular here. I'm picking on all of them. That with all like the hard plastic dashes are just going to just disintegrate in the sun, and that's just how it goes. I don't expect really the modern big three to be like cracking dashes. The Demon doesn't even have an interior. Yeah, the Demon, it has like a half interior really. I mean, it's missing the passenger seats and the rear seats, which I think was kind of odd. I get why they did it. They wanted to be like a drag car you could buy. It's like kind of like how the Camaro Copo is, but it's street legal. um, it's an interesting concept that they did that, but I feel like that I don't know. The Demon really doesn't have much of a besides that, but it has a full dash and all that crap, so I mean that still kind of counts. So everyone's joining in now. It's kind of cool. If you're new to the stream, welcome. It's just we're not going to be doing this for terribly long. I'm probably going to only be on for about an hour and a half. Is because unfortunately Hayden's going to be here to join me tonight, so we're just doing a live Q&A. I went through a whole spiel earlier, getting ready for tomorrow's video. It's a long one about my mental health and all that. So if you guys are like actually concerned about me in that kind of regard, which I know some of you guys actually are, I'll have that video out tomorrow. Normal time. I'm changing the upload schedule. Is what I'm doing. I'm changing the upload schedule to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mainly because everyone's doing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday now, and I'm afraid of being, called to copycat or something like that. Like for example, that Unibly moved to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday right after I did, and of course people are gonna be like, "Oh, you copied David." We're like, no, it just happened to be a coincidence. We both started uploading the same day, so I was like, after accidentally uploading last week's video on Monday last week, I was like, I might just change the schedule to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's exactly what I'm doing. The video is going to come out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and yeah, I'm going to start doing POV videos again. As I said earlier, I grabbed out my old DB Power camera I picked up for Christmas 2018, not 2018 Christmas, isn't almost past Christmas, but Christmas 2017 is the right one. But I grabbed that out again, and I'm starting to film with that again. That way I can get proper POV footage and all whatsoever. Have you thought of upgrading your headlight bulbs? Eventually. I feel like I'm going to do a full headlight rebuild on mine because mine are hot garbage and they're peeling. They're getting moisture in them now, and it's turned into an eyesore. They're pretty much just as bad to look at as my stockers were. The stock ones I had on the truck were like cracked and faded and had sun damage. Excuse me. So I've been like strongly debating swapping them out because like those lights are trash. The way I want to do it though is I want to do like a completely custom front end setup. I want to do if I do this at all, I'm probably going to buy a set of stock lenses that are clean, like brand new stock lenses, swap them over to the current light setup. We're probably going to retrofit some projectors in, do a custom DRL, which is going to be kind of like inspired of the C7 and its DRL, which is the kind of like reverse L shape, that kind of shape. And the ones I'm looking at are sequential as well. So I'll have a sequential blinker, which is like a huge thing because I love sequential turn signals, like Audi's, the Mustang, all that kind of crap. That happens like, oh my gosh, yes. And then I'm thinking of possibly doing an RTR inspired grill. I haven't decided yet. I want to make the front end like pop. I want it to be something modern and cool to look at. So I think those two, like those big things in the lighting, would be where I'd like to be. I'm still torn on the RTR grill though because I feel like it'd be too much with the DRLs and the lights. If I do the DRLs and the lights, I really don't know. Which is pretty much a given. That's definite. And I'll be my plan is to take the wiring for the turn signals take it off that bulb and put them directly to DRL. So the DRL is the turn signal. There is no more like bulb blinking. That's it. That sequential blinker is it. That's my turn signal. So that's the plan. I haven't finalized everything yet. I need to measure and all that stuff and figure out exactly what size I need. I need to get everything figured out how I want to do it. I may swap my fog lights with the LED unit also. I need new housings. Yeah, the stock headlights suck. I've kind of learned that the hard way when it comes to just just how they look. I really don't like the white headlights. I feel like that if you're going to be putting aftermarket headlights on the track, it needs to be a black housing because it's just, I don't know. I feel like, well, even with a white truck, I could picture it look good. I may swap my okay. So swapping fog lights. I unfortunately can't do a video on that because I don't have fog lights. I would love to, but I can't because again I don't have fog lights to even swap out. So I just have like these little like little fill I don't know what you call them, caps, but they're not like caps you can pop out. They're solid built into the bumper. Lame. Ford literally could have just made it easy, just pop them out, put some fog lights in, but they're just like, nah, let's make it difficult. I don't know why, but yellow fogs look weird to me. I can get why people don't like yellow fogs. I feel like on imports it's better. Like for something, for example, if someone did it on an S2000 or a Subaru, especially Subarus, they pull off yellow fogs the best. I feel like that's the best one. I like imports. I feel like imports pull off yellow fogs the best. And I think American cars, they should just stick to normal white LEDs or black lens or smoke tinted, whatever. It's just that kind of how it goes. I feel like that's like the cars that pull it off. I feel like domestic should stay with white and black, and imports can do white, black, and yellow. I mean, it's just kind of. I mean, I don't hate it if you do use yellow fogs on an American car. I don't have a problem with it necessarily. With some color combinations, it'll work. I've seen like Rob's Rainbow Pony. It was an old That You Don't Believe video I watched yesterday. He used yellow fogs in the car, and it was actually kind of cool. It looked good. So I feel like in that regard, it's like it would work. I feel like though yellow fogs are like better suited on imports. It'd be cool to retrofit a red LED strip inside the brake lens. I thought about that. I thought about taking taking my LED converted bulb and running the wiring into like a ring, kind of like how the GTR, how it has its lighting set up. It's got the little red ring for the taillights. But I don't know how hard that would be, and I feel like again I have to take it apart, and I don't like taking lights apart. That's a pain in the balls, and I have to do. So it's like I feel like it'd be. I feel like I've got some different ideas. I'm gonna probably tin it and cut a design into the vinyl, the tin itself, to make it look cooler. Because to be honest, I thought the Altezza lights looked cool when I first got them, but now it's like they just seem kind of ricey. Because I mean, most cars that have Altezza lights are like priced out cars. I mean, I'd rather have a solid black light with some custom design cut into it that looks cool and unique. Because there was a set of LED taillights I looked at for the truck a long time ago that I wasn't able to find when I was buying my taillights. They looked fantastic, and they were like good stuff. But now I can only find them in chrome, and the sites that do something, you have to buy them in bulk. It's like you own a parts shop. Like you're selling these to consumers, and it's like a parts supplier. You go through, you have to buy. I think it was like 50. I think it's like 50 order like 50. What's the word I'm looking for? The quantity has to be 50. That's the way I'm going to say it. It has to be 50 of that item in order to be able to purchase it. So I'm like, why would I buy 50 sets of taillights if I'm just going to if I'm only going to use one, you know? So I've been like hunting down the black LED pair for a while, but I doubt I'm actually going to be able to find it. I'm going to put the new Ford Tritone chime in my truck. I've been trying to find a way to do that. There's programmable like speakers you can buy on Amazon. At least you used to be able to buy them. I haven't seen them since. And there's a Kickstarter that was up a couple of years ago for like someone did it with a Volvo. They put like Toto by Africa as like their like there was an 8-bit remix of the song as like their door chime. You know, they put the key in and started playing Toto by Africa. And I thought that was like cool and all, but that I don't know how that went if it became a mass market product. I haven't seen an update on that Kickstarter and what happened. It'd be cool. I feel like it'd be awesome to buy that and put the Tritone chime in my truck. I've also planned to change on my dash lights to blue instead of the factory green. I actually just replaced my factory lights on the dash, but it was while we were doing the push button start and the dash was out anyway. And I had a bunch of dead bulbs in my gauge cluster. So I was like, well, let's go up to AutoZone or O'Reilly's and see if they've got any LEDs. So I went up to O'Reilly's and they didn't have any LEDs, unfortunately. Well, they had a couple LEDs, but they weren't enough to do for the gauge cluster. So I just did the factory bulbs and just popped those in. We were good to go. Was it hard? I guess you're asking about changing the dash lights. It just depends. You have to be patient. There's a lot of stuff you have to take out to get to it. You have to take out the radio bezel. You have to take out the underside of the dash. There's a metal plate underneath the dash. You have to take out the top clip piece, and there's the gray piece that surrounds, or the black piece. I don't know what color it is for each truck. I know mine has like a silver piece that goes around the gauge cluster. That all comes out. There's some screws to remove, and then you get to the cluster, and it's quite simple. You just flip it over, unplug it, pop the bulbs in. But it's really just getting to the cluster that's difficult. Besides that, it's pretty smooth sailing. It's not really much of a problem. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily difficult. It was just annoying, to say the least. I want to say they were all 8mm bolts. I feel like if you go back and watch Chris Fix's video on doing it on his Mazda truck, it's literally the same process as doing it on our trucks. Because, again, there's, as I highlighted in a video, I think it was last week, the Ranger video, the Ranger differences video. No, not last week, the week before that. It's the same process as those two trucks. So if you want to actually see how to change those gauge lights out, go watch that, because it'll be the best way to do it. Replacing the speakers in the Sport Track is extremely difficult to do while not breaking door clips. Yeah, I feel like those door clips are so finicky. Mine are actually my driver's door. It looks like we tried removing it to do the keyless entry install before we did the push button install. I had another keyless entry kit ready to go for it, and it would have kept the key ignition. So if this hadn't worked out, I probably, which is funny because we realized we could have done it anyway. Like, we could have done it that day and it would have been done within an hour. We really did the push button start for nothing. I spent all that money just for the convenience of hitting a button, even though literally wiring in the actual keyless would have been so easy, so much easier than how that worked. But anyway, yeah, when we took my driver's door off, we were like, holy crap, what happened here? Because there was several clips that were broken already. And I was like, did this window motor go out a long time ago or something like that? And we're probably going to take it off anyway again soon, because we're going to probably put some white lithium grease on the tracks. That was another Monday 86 video I watched, was how to fix that, because my driver's window is incredibly slow. And some days doesn't even work at all. So it'd be nice to grease that up so it actually works. There's a lot of stuff I need to do with on the truck mechanically, though, I'm saving up for right now. Have you ever seen a vid on my my channel of my truck? I haven't yet. I'll have to put it in my reminders. I'll probably do that here in a second. I'll put it a reminder somewhere to go check it out. Because I think you asked me this last week, or not last week, the last time we did a Roast Tires Live, and I said I was gonna do it and then I forgot. So I'm gonna try to make sure this time I see it. But I'm driving passenger window really slow. Yeah, I don't know what's up with mine. My rear passenger side window didn't even, I rolled it down last week on Thursday, and it didn't come up. I had to sit there for about 20 minutes fighting it to get it back up, and it finally did come back up. It was just sitting there for 10 minutes just getting mad at the truck again, and come on up, and it eventually came up. I don't have a driver's window right now, so I'm like, oh, that sucks. That kind of sucks about getting your truck broken into. Hopefully it wasn't anything expensive in there. It's definitely in progress. Yeah, we've all been there. I mean, even a lot of YouTubers' builds are still in progress. I mean, look at mine, for example. I mean, it's still in progress. It's not finished by any means. And I think it's the adhesive degrading. I'm guessing we're talking about the window. It might be. I don't know what exactly adhesive we're talking about here. I know my headliner adhesive is degrading because my third brake light leaks. So that's my headliner adhesive. My headliner adhesive is definitely degrading right now. And I went on a date Friday, and I was really embarrassed, hoping the girl didn't see my headliner sagging from where we were at, because I was like, crap, please don't see it, please don't see it, please don't see it, because my headliner, it's very easy to see from the front, and you'll see in the POV video tomorrow. I'll look over every once in a while, and there's like a big sagging spot right across the top of the passenger side. So I'm like, oh crap, please don't see that. And it was even more embarrassing. The truck was absolutely filthy that day. As far as that, when it went well, but it didn't, like, the rest of the day wasn't that great after, because it was like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it though, because I don't know that girl might be even watching this right now, because I put it on my personal Snapchat that I was live, and I told her about the channel, so maybe she'll see it. I don't know. If not, it's whatever. She's busy. I need to replace my headliner, so I want to do a Starlight headliner. Yeah, I think Do It With Dan just did a video on that. I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to watch it. I think I even put it in my watch later and everything. I haven't watched it yet. That'd be awesome. I feel like it'd be cool. The headliner, we need a 4.5 by 5 foot fabric. Did mine a few months ago. I think you commented that on a video not too long ago too. And my things, I don't know what color I want to do. I don't know whether I want to do another gray headliner or if I want to do a black headliner to match the black seats I'm going to be buying eventually. Probably after the engine project. I feel like right now I'm torn, because I can if I save up for the engine project, I can buy boost first. But then I'll have to restart the entire process and save up for the engine again. So I'm trying to decide if I want to get it all done at once. If I want to save up, buy everything, get it all put up in one shot, so it only has to go to the dyno once, or if I want to do the engine first, buy boost after. And I haven't decided yet. There's some of you guys wanting me to turbo the truck. It's been a big argument with some of you guys about what I should do with it, and I'm torn, because all three ideas sound good. Turbo's good for high-end power. Supercharger's good for low-end torque, which is usually what I use because I daily drive the truck, and I want to track it, but I'm not going to drag race it every week. It's going to be every once in a while let it hit the drag strip, maybe hit a couple passes and go home. It's not going to be a full-time drag truck, you know. I think eventually, if I ever win the lottery or something like that, it'll be phased out as my daily driver like that, and it'll be a drag truck then. But as it sits right now, no, it won't be any sort of competitive race truck for a long time. But it's all three options sound great, and I can't decide how I want to do it, because I feel like a good medium would be to pro-charge it or do a centrifugal blower, and I've been looking up just how much it would cost, and I've only been able to find the front of the head unit. I can't find the gearbox setup. I've been trying to find. I found a $500 head unit on eBay for a pro-charger kind of style, a centrifugal blower, and it just didn't come with a gearbox. I was like, well, that's not going to work. And then I looked up some Vortec blowers, and they're kind of expensive, and it's probably to be the most expensive option, minus the Roots blower style, because, well, no, the centrifugal would be definitely the most expensive, because it would be the blower itself ranges. I've seen them go for as low as $1,000. I've seen them go for as high as $3,000 for just the blower themselves. And then I would need to get piping, which would also cost money. I would also need to get injectors, fuel pump, all that kind of crap, because the stock truck fuel pump sucks, and the stock injectors suck. I'm probably going to try to get 52-pound injectors or something like that to run. Maybe custom Mustang V6 supercharger setup. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Vortec V6 Mustangs and ProCharger V6 Mustang setups. I don't know how it would work though, because of how the couple of differences between the Mustang motor and the truck motors. I couldn't tell you if it worked properly or not, which is why I'm thinking just building my own system if I'm going to go ProCharger or centrifugal blower itself, to kind of just make my job easier, make it to where I'm not having to work around fabbing around another kit. I feel like it would still cost less than buying the Mustang kit, because the Mustang kit's $4,000 to $5,000. So if I buy the Mustang kit and still have to cut it, fabricate it, and still have to buy stuff extra for it, I feel like I'd be better off just buying just the head unit, custom piping, custom bracket, and doing all that, making it a little bit easier on myself. Would it be possible to swap an AOD and the Sport Track and adapter? But possibly. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the AOD is an automatic. It's like the old 4-speed, if I'm correct. I can't remember. I don't remember the AOD that much. I know more about the R series, the 4R, all the way to the 6R, the 10R80. I'm not really familiar with Ford's old automatics. Personally, for me, I feel like my next transmission, because it's not a point of if, it's a question of when with the 5R. If it blows up another 5R, when it blows up another 5R, I'll probably either go built trans or I will be getting a TR6060 put in it and going manual. I haven't decided yet because Hayden, which is it's funny with Hayden because Hayden's like a big manual purist, and he's like, do not under any circumstances put a manual in the truck, mainly because of how like long the throws are in a truck usually, which I get. It's a pretty good reason not to do it because I hate long throws. And after seeing like a lot of trucks with manual shifters, it's like you have to like punch the monitor, go all the way back here to shift gears. I'm like, I feel like that's why I'm like thinking built 5R. It'd be cool if I could swap a 6R into it, which would be perfect. The 6R80s are strong. For some odd reason, those transmissions are tough. But again, I feel like it'd be better for me just. I might stick auto just because I might stick with the auto because it'd be easier to deal with and it would cost me a little bit less. The TR6060 itself is a $2,000 transmission, which is the problem with putting a TR in the truck. It's just so expensive. But in keeping the 5R would be $1,500 to say the built 5R would be about $1,800, and it's done. That's it. It's a built 5R in the truck, and it's game. It's ready to go, and it will be able to handle pretty good power numbers. Because my goal is to hit about 500 to the tire, which sounds like a lot for a 4.0, but that's the goal. We're gonna try our hardest to hit 500, and it's either gonna be probably the more than likely option for building that kind of power is gonna be a centrifugal or a turbo. Again, the low end torque would be awesome from an Eaton M112 or something like that. So I haven't decided yet. The AOD is a tough transmission. I've heard a lot about the AOD being tough. I just don't know if it would work. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the old AOD trans. I know a lot more about the 4R and above, and how bad the 5R is. Personally, though, if it works, it'd be awesome. If you can swap an AOD into the truck, it'd be perfect. But again, it's like I just don't know. I couldn't tell you if it'd work or not. Have you seen Shorted to Ground? I have not seen that channel yet. I have never heard of that name, to be honest with you. As far as transmissions, again, I feel like my best options will be built 5R or a TR6060 trans. Which would again be cool. I feel like the problem is because I'd probably be looking at like a 13-14 trans, which means I'd be getting that ridiculously long first gear. Because I was watching a video, I think it was today. They designed it was that dude Blue million subscriber Q&A. If you guys can tell, I really like that guy. He was talking about the TR6060 since they designed it to hit 0 to 60 in 1 gear. They were like, let's make it like wind the crap out in first gear. So I feel like it wouldn't be the best move for like gearing because I would need to put gears in it definitely in order to be able to handle how long first gear would be in a TR6060. But again, having a 6-speed would be much better than having a 5. It'd be better on gas. He has a fast supercharged 4.0. I'll probably check it out. Because like I said, I'm always looking for ideas. And the advantages, too, of doing, like, for example, if I did a ProCharger or a centrifugal blower like a Vortec or a Paxton or a ProCharger, any of that kind of stuff, it'd be a completely unique setup to the truck. It wouldn't be something someone's done before. Like, for example, my friend Josh had a root splitter in his truck when he had it. So it's like, I'd rather stick with, like, something more unique. Oh, he fabbed a Cobra Super. Okay, so he has the M112. That's kind of cool. With the 4.0 blow-up. If you're not careful, and the way I'm going about this, the way I'm planning this out, it's going to be a motor that'll be probably capable of, if it could reach that kind of power levels, which it probably won't, because I've never heard of a 4.0 going over 500, even hitting 500. It will probably be able to handle close to 7. And I doubt it'll hit 7. I doubt it'll ever even get close to 7. I don't even touch 6. But it would be, I feel like it would be able to handle it if somehow you squeeze that kind of power out of it. Which again is a big if, because 4.0s aren't capable of that much. And I knew that going in. That's why I made the video talking about the 5.0 swap and why I wasn't doing it, because it's expensive, and while the 5.0 has a lot more headroom for potential on building power, the 4.0 is the cheaper alternative, because for the same amount of price you'd be spending on a 5.0 swap, you can boost a 4.0, build the 4.0, and be just as powerful, if not about maybe even close to Coyote level power. And again, the Coyote also has a lot more headroom because it's naturally aspirated. You're making just as much power, the built motor and boost. But in the long run, it's a unique setup that would be really cool. And I haven't decided yet what I want to do yet because the 4 needs 24 valves. That would have been perfect if they'd done that. I feel like it would be a much better engine if they'd done that. There actually is, in a sense, a 24 valve 4.0. It's a bored out 3.7. If you buy like the 2011 to 14 3.7 and you bore it out, they sell a kit you can bore it out to 4 liters. So it's kind of like the modern how like Ford should have done the 4.0 to begin with, is made it this better version of the 4.0. And I was about to make a comment on it. Rich beat me to it about the timing chains. Yeah, if it'd be like the 4.0 if they'd done it properly, not done that stupid bullcrap with the timing chains being on the back of the motor. I cannot stand that. That's like the most ridiculous thing ever. It's why a lot of people. It's why I'm just gonna get my motor rebuilt in general because if I don't think my timing chains are bad right now, and I feel like if I had to do the job, it would be better to just put a new motor in it because it costs the same. Granted, the way I'm doing it is going to be a lot more aggressive and a lot more expensive than just doing a quick timing chain job. It's literally a retrofitted pusher motor, and to an extent, I get that. I get the comparison, but I mean, it's still an overhead cam engine. But I definitely see the comparison. It's odd, and I don't like the configuration of the 4.0 when it comes to that. I feel like single overhead cam was a mistake, and that retarded like backwards camshaft deal was stupid. The only thing I can think of is for engine balancing. I feel like that's the only reason they did it, was to balance the motor. Because I bet if they were both on the front, it was like shaking and like rocking like crazy, and they needed that like balance to be from the jack shaft and the passenger camshaft being on the back of the engine, so it could actually handle it. Still dumb though. I still can't stand it. Magnum's in the chat. What's up? What's up, all of you guys? I realize some of you guys even said what's up, and I didn't acknowledge you guys, so sorry about that. But I'm mad because we have a pure filter now in the house because I hate tap water, and when I filled this bottle up, the water wasn't hot for some reason. So it blew the hot water out hot. My exploder blew a balance shaft. That sucks. It really does. It's why I hate. It's my problem with the 4.0. Literally, if they didn't make it so convoluted and complicated for just a single overhead cam V6, it could have been so much better. Ford made it like they really blew it with that motor. Early 2000s Ford, they only had like really one good engine, and that was the Terminator motor. I know a lot of you guys like the 2-valve, and it's not a bad thing to like the 2-valve. But it's just I read it's dual chains because the head castings are the same to save money, so just swap one on the other direction. I'm curious if that's possible. Well, because you said they're the same. So theoretically, could you flip the camshaft and take the jack shaft out and make the timing chain on the front? That's interesting. May have to try that. How many? Is too many cars to own by yourself? I don't know. I feel like, as much as I like watching Adam LZ, sometimes I feel like he has too many cars for himself. I mean, he owns Shmee too. Shmee, granted, Shmee 150 can afford that, but it's still kind of weird to say. Like, how do you take care of 7 to 8, 9 cars? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I feel like 2 is asking a lot for me personally. Like, even Hayden, if he was here, he would talk about it. He would talk about how he feels like he's neglected one of the other cars, because he's got 2 cars. It's hard to keep track of both. It's possible. Won't try it. I probably won't. It'd be interesting to find out though if it would work. If we could flip the head and flip the cam over and put like the timing chain on the front. Why couldn't Ford just use the Duratec? I think the only Duratec motors they had at the time was the 2.3, so it probably would be so underpowered with the 4-cylinder in it. Granted, it'd be a lot easier to upgrade, because I'm pretty sure the Duratec motor was pretty much the same thing underneath as the motors in the Speed 3s. I think the Speed 3s had a little bit more upgrading, but I think it was part of that same line of the Duratec line. So theoretically, if it is kind of the same thing as the Speed 3 motor underneath, you could probably run 700 horsepower out of the old 423 Duratec motors, which is kind of cool. Like, who would have thought that? You'd have, like, a high horsepower four-cylinder in the, in like, a truck. An old Ford truck. They had a 24 valve in the Taurus at the time. I did not know that the Taurus actually had a Duratec motor in it. I know the Cyclone family is a part of that Duratec family. The 3.3 Mustang, the 3.3 was that like before the SN95? Because I know the SN95 was the 3.8, 3.7. Okay, yeah, there is a guy on here who has a 3.7 a 3.7 truck. He put a 3.7 in a sport track out of an F-150, which is kind of cool. It's now my thing personally, like I like the 3.7. It's a lot better when it comes to Ford V6s. If you're going to be buying a Ford V6 in general, the 3.7. I mean, granted, it's the last of the V6s, unless you're buying like the 3.5 EcoBoost in the F-150 or the 3.0 EcoBoost for that matter. Now, it's the 3.7's pretty good. I kind of want to see if I can do a diesel swap in the sport track. I know that will be asking a lot at that little bitty engine bay, but still, there is actually a guy. If you go on YouTube and search for a Cummins 4BT Explorer, and it's the same generation that the sport track is based off of. So in theory, the Cummins 4BT walks like the Cummins 4BT works in perfectly. You can put a 4BT in and be fine. I'd pay for that if I could. My mother walked into my apartment and saw some large boxes, my exhaust system, aftermarket LED taillights, for projector headlights as a gift for your friend. Yeah, my parents, whenever I get stuff, they're just like, oh, hey, your stuff came in. it's interesting. Yeah, the 4BT works perfectly on that Generation Explorer. If you watch that video, though, you'll get a lot more information on what the swap is like. I think he said it wasn't like the easiest thing in the world. You can put the Cummins 4BT in. And out of all the diesels, I really like the Cummins the most. It's like, I don't know, the Cummins seem to make the most power out of the diesels. The Duramax is good, and the power stroke. I mean, the power stroke's iffy. Like the 6.7 and the 7.3 are good, but I'm not a big fan of the 6.0, the 6.4, all that kind of crap. But when it comes to diesels, it's like Cummins just seems to have their act together. And asked when I'm gonna get them installed. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite here. My parents don't ask me when I'm gonna get stuff installed because for some reason, like I get it because my dad my dad gets irritated at my truck easily because if you guys know, but it helps me out a lot on these like installs and all that stuff. And anytime he sees a car parking, he's like, "Oh no," because he knows it'll be like hours, and I'll be like, "Hey, when are we gonna install this?" And I do this a lot. I've done this a lot with the headers because we're still trying to get a date set. And it's sad because I realized yesterday, and I talked to him about it. I was like, "Dang, we could have gotten started on it this week." And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, because we have a 3-day weekend because of Memorial Day tomorrow." And I was sitting there yesterday before I was leaving for the Classic show, and I went and filmed tomorrow's video. And I was like, "Dad, we could have gotten started on the headers." And he was like, "Yeah, we could have, but not now." I was like, "Crap," because I was like ready to go. He's like, "It's a little late to get started on it now," so I was kind of disappointed. But we're just gonna have to wait it out for a little while longer. There's my mom and my brother are going to Harvard in a couple of weeks to go to Boston go to Harvard for a school thing because they've been expressing interest in my little brother. So there might be that might be a good time to swap the headers on while they're gone. Didn't the generation right before the Sport Track of the Explorers have the 5.0? Well, like I was saying, the Sport Track is on that same generation of the Explorer, the 95 to 01s. It's the same thing underneath as the first-gen Sport Tracks. So that's why the 5.0 fits so well in the Sport Track and why it's a pretty straightforward swap because it's the same thing underneath. But yeah, that generation of Explorer, the 95 to 01, did have the 5.0 Windsor in it out of the Fox body. And it's actually, so this is what's funny. So you guys know I've crapped on the 2-valve a lot on these streams. And I'm trying to get my mindset on saving up for a project car once the truck's done. Once I get it boosted, get the motor done, get the Cobra diff put in, / possible GT500 diff if I can find one. Get the transmission figured out because it's going to blow up again. There's no doubt in my mind that once that truck's boosted, that 5 Rs, it's gone. It'd be like Thanos, just snap and it's gone. And the 5.0 Windsor Mustang is like one of my top contenders because while I feel like I made it out that way in the Windsor swap video I did, that like why I wouldn't do it, because I feel like I made it sound like I hate the Windsor, and I don't hate the Windsor. I feel like when it comes to the older Ford V8s, it's, besides like the 4-valve, it's the way to go for old Ford V8s. The 2-valve has a hard time making power, and it's been time and time proven again in the Fox body that the Windsor can make power, and it can do quite well. So I feel like my options will be to do like a 94, 95 GT, because I like the Fox body. It still is it's a classic, but I would rather do the SN because I like the SN's design more than the Fox slightly, which is ironic. I never knew why they didn't call it the Fox body again. Like it wasn't like the Fox body 2 or something, because it's on a Fox chassis. Besides that, they just wanted to call it the SN95. 460 swap. That'd be interesting. I've never seen that. That'd be interesting to see on like a sport track or something like that. If it would fit. Well, I mean, if it's a bored out version of the 302 Windsor, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to do. But if it's just a big motor in general, if it's just a big Ford motor, I doubt it'll fit. But it'd be interesting. Interesting to say at least. I forgot I had night shift turned on my phone, because those like the moment I pulled it up, it was like it got dark. So what the heck? With the overtime money I am getting for a while, it looks like I'm going to be able to finish the truck, but not in time for Tomato Fest. I'm kind of in the same standpoint. I feel like that I'm wanting to get my truck done in time for Streetcar Takeover here in Atlanta, but it's definitely not looking like it'll be ready by then. Because I mean, I've got to save if I'm going to boost this thing. The minimum I'm going to need about $4,500 saved up for engine work, mechanic shops to take care of it all. Theoretically, I'd love to tear the motor down myself and do it all myself, minus like getting it machined and all that crap. But I'd rather just take it to a shop that can handle it. And $4,500 would be probably about ballpark for a turbo setup. I would probably need to save up a little bit more for if I did Pro Chargers, centrifugal, something like that. And Roots blower would be probably about in the middle. What's the performance mods laws in Georgia like? They really don't have one. As long as you have catalytic converters, you're good. And preferably, I'd live in Alabama or Florida where there is no emissions whatsoever, and you can just do whatever the heck you want with your car. As long as the title's clean, you can drive. But in my part of Georgia, because there are parts of Georgia where they don't care. Pretty much the metro Atlanta area, which is where I'm from, they are big on the... they're big on like emissions. That's the big one. If you as long as you have cats, you're good. And that's why I'm gonna decat the middle cats, the secondary cats. I'm gonna keep the main ones because I want to still pass emissions here. How's the transmission doing? The 5R is fine right now. The current 5R it's got in it because it pretty much it had the hiccup when I first got it back. I did the video on it where it broke the what was it called? I forget what it was called. It was a it was solenoid. It was a shift solenoid. That's what it was. I was trying to remember what it broke. And that was the only hiccup it's had, and it's been fine ever since. It shifts perfectly fine. It's not slipping anymore. It doesn't have the delay it used to have. It used to have a really bad delay where whenever I'd go from reverse to drive, it would like take an extra second. It would rev up and then drop it in the drive, like you'd neutral drop it. And then neutral drop itself. But yeah, now it's fine. It's running good. I feel like though, probably in less than a couple years time, once it's built, probably won't be doing too hot. I'll probably have another blown 5R in my hands in like the next year or two. But my part of Georgia, there are no emission laws. Yeah, I think I remember you told me you live about like 3 hours outside of Atlanta. So you got the lucky part. No emissions in Ohio. Lucky, guys. In Florida. That's why I love Florida. Exactly. I wish I had that. I wish I had no emissions. I'm going for a straight pipe setup for the project truck along with a custom side exhaust. Man, I watched a video on VMP's Track Attack, and it's making me like debate doing a straight pipe, like mufflerless side exit kind of setup. I feel like it would look so awkward on my truck. In particular, I've seen a lot of people pull off the side exit. I just don't know if I could. And with the short tubes and with, like, I'd probably still have the factory cats on them if I could. Oh man, oh man. I can only imagine how ridiculous it'd be, like loud. I just don't know how it would work with the V6. I need to hear a 4.0 with open headers to get the idea. But I'm thinking more likely I'll probably just modify my current Flowmaster setup to be a bit more boost friendly. You know, get rid of the resonator, get rid of the secondary cats, probably throw some high flows on it with the short tubes. No emissions in Ohio because exhaust like it is off over here. I forgot about up north. Like there's like it's so bad with rust up north, because of all the snow and all the salt. So it's like anytime I hear like exhaust like dissolve, I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm like, oh yeah, because it snows a lot. Like I've said in previous videos, I have family in Virginia, West Virginia, that kind of area. So I know all about what it's like up there because they tell me all the time about how bad it is up there with the snow. See, I feel like for myself, I'm probably going to do a bit of work on my Flowmaster because I feel like I just don't know if I could do a side exit. I just don't know if it would work for me. Rockers or something, that sucks. Oh no. I don't think I have really much of anything that is like rusted out or anything. I think my exhaust was like the only thing that was even minorly rusted. The stock exhaust manifolds are rough. Besides my body mounts crumbling, I bought these body mount bushings. They're sitting like over here above my head here. I bought those when I got the MEX M5100 and when I first bought the CG taillights, and they've been sitting in the box for almost 2 years. So I still need to install them, but I think part of it is I was told that if I put those body mount bushings in, it'll pick the truck up a little bit. I'm like, max low. I want that low voice status. So I'm taking the rougher ride for the maximum lowness. I do want to drop the truck a little bit more though. I feel like that in order for me to be happy, that truck's have to come down at least another 1.5 or 2 inches to be perfect for me. I think actually they're polyurethane. They're like prothane bushings. I don't know if that can constitute as a solid bushing or not. I don't know what the difference between a solid bushing and a traditional just bushing is. I can't tell if these are solid or not. I feel like solid would be like more metal, like a metal bushing. Loosen the torsion bars. That's what we did to actually drop it how it is now. I just don't know how much it has. I just don't know if it can go any lower. And plus, I need to get a little bit bigger blocks because that was awful. But yeah, I'm looking into it. I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do. Theoretically, what I would do, if I could get it to drop that low, I'd take my Beltec blocks that I still have, weld them to the current Autocraft ones, and get longer U-bolts. We're good to go. Go 6 inches up back instead of 3. But I feel like that's asking a lot, and I don't know how well that would work. So it's like I've heard stacking blocks is like ridiculous. Don't do it. So it's like, why not just weld them? Make them one solid block. Could those welds fail? Is the question. Could like the constant like shifts like break the blocks? Are you gonna dyno the track stock? Probably not. Mainly because I don't really have a lot of my stock components anymore. And like I said, I'm concerned about. Well, I didn't say it in this video. I said it in the stream. I said it in tomorrow. I think I did say it tomorrow's video. I'm concerned with the motor, so I'm probably not going to dyno it until I'm comfortable with possibly taking the risk of it blowing itself up on the dyno. Because right now, I don't know what kind of shape it is on the inside. I mean, it's doing its thing. It's still running pretty good. It's not misfiring anymore, whatever. But with the lifter tick or injection, whichever one it is, and the belt chatter, I'm afraid because I've heard the horror stories of the 4.0s and their harmonic balancers failing. And if it's causing my belt chatter, I don't want to risk it. Put it on the dyno, beat the living crap out of it on the dyno, and blow the harmonic balancer straight off the motor and destroy the car. So I kind of want to just wait it out until the truck's ready to be put on the dyno. I can trust it. I'm probably going to replace the harmonic balancer eventually because either way it's going to get replaced. Because if I do it with the current setup, it'll get rid of the belt chatter. But if I do it on the in the rebuilt motor, it'd have to happen anyway. What am I going to do for Monday? We're having a cookout to celebrate one of my cousins. I don't even think he's watching this video right now. One of my cousins is going into the Navy soon, so he doesn't know that we're celebrating him because he doesn't like being the center of attention. But we're doing a full cookout for him to celebrate him going into the military. That's what we got planned. Mine went out 219K. That blows. It really does. I've heard a lot about those Harmonic balancers being really big solar points. It's like the timing cassettes. They're, you know, the timing cassettes are like very weak. So I've been watching movies this weekend. You were. I don't think you were here like early on in the stream, but like I said earlier, I had a really tough weekend. So that's been pretty much all I've been doing is been dealing with crap all weekend. So luckily unfortunately I haven't been able to enjoy my weekend that much. I mean I went and hung out with Aiden yesterday, which was nice. So and I think he's on a date right now, which is why he's not on here with me. My motor at 142K, still a bit lucky. You've got almost 100,000 miles less than I do. I'm at 233, so I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there. It's gonna be weird to say that the body's gonna have, you know, so much miles with such a fresh motor whenever it gets put in. But it's gonna be nice at the same time, because that means I don't have to worry about the engine and the transmission, because the transmission will be good for a little while until I kill it with the boost. Because that's going to be the big problem. I'm so afraid of killing that 5R because it's going to be the problem. It's going to be the sore point of the built truck. I only paid $3,000 too. My parents, like I said, mine was a gift. My parents surprised me with mine, so they paid $3 for mine. The guy wanted $4, but my parents were like, no, it's blue booked at $2,200, so $3. They still paid a little bit too much for that truck. They really could have gone like $2,500, and it would have been fair. But yeah, I had 212 when we picked it up. I put 21,000 miles on already. It's not a lot, especially since my mom, she just bought her Equinox. It's already at 20,000 miles. She bought it 15. She picked up 5,000 miles on it so fast. It makes no sense to me how that she did it that fast. But it's like the Mustang too. The Mustang gained a crap ton of miles on it pretty quick. The Mustang, my dad bought it. It had like 20K in the clock, and this was 2015, and it has 103, I think now. So I mean, it definitely shot up pretty good while he's had it. I bought mine 131. I'll officially have it in June. That's pretty cool. I mean, I've had mine for a little over 3 years now. If you guys really want to see the evolution of the Sport Track, and you guys wanted to see it from the beginning and see myself with a brace face before I got kind of fat for a little while, I'll go ahead and like link it in the chat here so you guys can keep up with it and like see like the big playlist the truck had. I'm gonna turn this down because I forgot my speakers were on. Oh, I thought it was gonna automatically play a video for me here, but. It's a playlist. It's a playlist you guys can watch to keep up with the truck in its entirety. I call it the Sport Track Super List. It's where you can see every single video from the beginning of the truck, back in the Jamson 1 days before this channel was even called Roast Tires, which a lot of you guys didn't even know was a thing. And I have every video from the first 1,000 miles to the entirety of the Project Explorer series, which was my original build series on the truck, which I just don't do now. The 1 year anniversary video, the story of how I got the truck, the installs for the taillights, the radio, my first time going to the Boosted Mafia meet, my headlights installed. This is like when the truck looked its best. When my AC first went out, my AC's been out for almost 3 years. The ST badges when I had those on there, the original build history video, which I got a pretty nasty comment on today. When I got my exhaust put on, pretty much every early Boosted Mafia videos on here as well. So if you guys really wanted to see that, you could. Windshield banner when I had that on there. Some cruise videos. This is when I ran like kind of like a dash cam kind of deal. Lots of videos just talking about the trucks in general. And it's kind of, like I said, the best way to keep up with the truck and see it's kind of like its progression over the years. When I did the Vindicator video, when I did the LED, when I started the LED conversion, the 5 things love video, the center console swap, the tuning stuff, the shocks when I got those in. Again, more Boosted Mafia stuff. the misfire when that happened. I mean, it's a very big playlist where you guys can see the truck's progression, and I'm gonna link it here in the chat in just a second. I'm just looking over all the videos that I have in here because I have a lot. When the truck blew out its transmission, when it broke again, when I bought the headers, the dream setup, how I wanted to do it, maintenance videos, when it broke again after that. I have pretty much every video that you guys would want to see on the Sport Track here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and post it in our chat here. Yeah, the Ranger steering wheel is identical to what our trucks have already. Since I color matched the hood, I have a state trooper, other people on the road giving me that. What the heck are you doing? Look. AC in the truck has been out since I got it. I'm thinking about buying a Focus ST. It sucks with AC because, especially where I live. I live in Georgia. You know, the summer is brutal here. So, yeah, it's been consistently 90 degrees the last couple of weeks, almost 100 degrees, and not having working AC is probably one of the worst things ever. Buying a Focus ST, they're getting cheap now, and it's worth it. If you ever like, a lot of people like to say they're too slow. But I feel like if you're wanting raw power out of a modern hot hatch, the Speed 3 is a little bit better. But the Focus ST is a lot more better equipment than the Speed 3. As long as I heat in the winter, I'm fine. Yeah, for some reason here in Georgia, weather is so indecisive. Last year, the spring was not this hot. It was relatively cool for all throughout spring last year. This year was just like the sun was like, let's just murder those kids out there, and it's been consistent. We're pretty much in drought conditions at this point. We haven't had rain in several weeks. I don't even think it's supposed to rain this week. What's it supposed to be this week? I think it's supposed to be pretty good this week, as far as not rain. It's supposed to rain Friday. This will be the first time we've had rain in about 3 weeks. And it's going to rain next Monday and Tuesday. As long as it doesn't rain Caffeine and Octane Sunday, I'm good, which would be next Sunday. So we'll be good. We'll be golden, which would be awesome, because Caffeine and Octane's the bomb. We'll try to be there as long as it doesn't rain. So as far as the forecast is right now, we're good. So I guess you guys just keep your eyes out. I'll post about it on Saturday on Instagram or on my Twitter page. If you guys haven't already followed me at Roast Tires, you guys can get an idea of when I'll be at Caffeine and Octane, and if I'll be there. If we are, where we will be, and you guys can come find us and hang out with us if you're in that area, because we really enjoy meeting up with subscribers. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. That's kind of what we're doing. Yeah, so like I said, tomorrow's video is going to be rather personal. It's if you guys haven't heard me talk about it already, it's on my personal health, my mental health side, and all of that. So I'll have that video out normal time tomorrow. I think it just finished rendering my Mac, because my Mac's on the other side of this wall here. And you guys will see that tomorrow. Where do you see Ford in 10 years? I feel like Ford's going to get their act together like better. I feel like honestly, I think on the enthusiast side, they're going to start cutting stuff out even more. We're probably not going to see any more like big ST cars anymore. I feel like that the Edge and the Explorer STs are going to be it for the ST line here in the States. I mean, unless there's just like a big renaissance of the small sedans instead of the crossover market, the SUV market. They might bring back like the Taurus, the Fusion, and the Focus, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like right now it's not looking too good for those cars. I feel like the ST and the RS are probably almost permanently gone. I feel like I don't really know if they really are able to stay afloat here in the States. I feel like the Mustang's probably still going to get a hybrid format. It's probably still going to get like a hybrid version of it. It'd be cool if they did something like a P1, like if they just did the Coyote with a electric motor hooked up to it. And of course, the F-150 is still going to get a hybrid version as well. So I have no doubt in my mind there's going to be a lot of hybridization in Ford in the next 10 years. With fossil fuels like gasoline starting to die, unfortunately. It'd be cool if they could figure out like an artificial, like a synthetic gas to keep the internal combustion engine alive, because I don't know, I just can't get down with it just with no sound whatsoever. I prefer to have noise when I hit the gas. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of hybridization. I think that the Ford GT is probably not going to be around in like 10 years. I feel like they're going to do the same they did in 05 and 06. It's going to be out here for a couple more years. I feel like by 2020, the Ford GT will be out of production altogether, and we'll have just the Mustang. It'll be just the Mustangs and enthusiast car. E100. I actually didn't know E100 was a thing. I knew E90 was a thing. I didn't know if they make straight E100 ethanol. So that's kind of new. That'll have to catch on big to really make a name for itself out here. I mean, there's like gas stations. I mean, are just now getting E85. I doubt E100 to be like something they can correct. Like they probably will adapt it eventually. If it does go mainstream, it'd be cool because having a full synthetic gasoline would be perfect because that means the combustion engine will stay alive, and that's the cool part. Like I said, I prefer to hear noise and to be able to drive a manual transmission still and all that stuff. And I feel like that the electric car is never going to be able to bring that kind of level of enjoyment that a gasoline engine will. And I feel like when the electric car comes, while it won't be necessarily signaling the death of the car community as a whole, I feel like it's definitely going to take a massive toll because there's not going to be supercharging, there's not going to be turbos, there's not going to be, like fuel maps and stuff to mess with. There's not going to be manual transmissions to drive. There's not going to be exhaust setups to change. There's not going to be a lot of like tuning capability on electric cars like there is gasoline cars. So I feel like in the long run, it is definitely going to take a massive toll when electric cars do inevitably become mainstream. But theoretically, something like E100 taking off, I feel like would be cooler. And electric cars still aren't perfect yet. Because I mean, you guys have probably seen the news. Tesla is like almost going out of business right now. They're not in good shape. So it's going to take a lot for. I feel like it's still going to be a while before electric cars go like 100% mainstream. I feel like it's not going to happen in our lifetimes. Like that Dean Blue said in one of his videos recently. I quote him a lot. He said in one of his videos recently he doubts that electric cars will go mainstream in our lifetimes, which will work out for me because again I'm not a big fan of the electric car scene. I feel like they're cool and all, but they're not my like personal choice in what I would buy. If I was buying a performance car, it would be an internal combustion car, something like a Corvette or a Mustang. It wouldn't be a Tesla or anything like that. But yeah, that's kind of my rant on electric cars for the day. But anyway, guys, I'm probably gonna hop off here in a minute and get ready for bed because my sleep schedule is all sorts of jacked up right now because of what happened Friday, which I'm not gonna go into. That's personal business. It did cause pretty much it was what sparked tomorrow's video to be filmed. Because it made me realize that I need to take care of myself a little bit, so that's why I filmed tomorrow's video. So my sleep schedule was messed up since Friday. So I'll probably hop off here in just a couple minutes. I guess before I shut down for the night, are there any last minute questions before I hop off? Because like I said, I mean, I only said I was going to be up for about an hour and a half doing this. So any last second questions, I'll answer them, and then we'll get ready to shut down for the night because, like I said, I'm actually kind of tired. So I'm probably going to shoot some more POV driving videos here in the near future. So I left some ideas at the end of tomorrow's video, but if you guys have any ideas, be sure to let me know on Instagram or on Twitter at Rose Tires or on Instagram at OneLow4.0. I probably am eventually going to rebrand it. I was trying to figure out like a cool name to use that involves 4 liters. But I think eventually I'm probably just going to adopt like Rose Tires Official or something like that on Instagram. But I don't know yet because I kind of want to stick with what I have now and just deal with it. Just hope for the best in the future. I appreciate that because, like I said, you'll hear about it in tomorrow's video. I'll talk more about what's been going on. I don't go into extreme detail on everything, but I go a little bit into detail on a lot of it. And hopefully things will get better as time goes on. And I talked a lot about going on medication and seeing counseling in the video because of this mental health issue I've had for years. So, who knows, maybe that'll happen. I'm probably not going to vlog if I do go to a counselor because that's just kind of weird. Laters. I'll catch you later, Magnum. Thanks for coming on the stream. Have a great night, man. Sorry I got here late, but yeah, sorry. No need to be sorry. It's you were driving. I mean, there's not much you can really do. I mean, unless you have YouTube Premium, you could like listen to the stream while we're doing it. Like that's what Hayden does a lot. When me and Hammer drove back from Florida, he turned on like a YouTube podcast and just locked his phone because he's premium. Lucky kid. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I apologize for not being on terribly long like I have been the last couple of streams. I just wanted to do a quick one just to talk for a little while. Just, talk about changing the upload schedule, bring up tomorrow's video so you guys see it coming, because I was afraid of uploading tomorrow's video and it being like, oh crap, what happened? I wanted to kind of give like a prologue to that, and of course do a live Q&A because I like doing that kind of stuff. And we're getting close to 600, guys. It's kind of cool that we're getting there. Okay, so before we close out for the night, actually, I'm going to pull up Social Blade. I'm going to see the projections right now for how my channel's growing, because that'd be kind of cool to point out, because from right now, for like lately, it's been showing that really good. That was like we're looking at hitting 1,000 by the end of the year. So what's it like right now? So I have a C grade channel. It's fine. I know that my channel's small. So it's expecting within 1 year from now, we'll be close to 1,000. So it's predicting about where I thought I wanted to be by the end of this year, about 800. It says we'll be there in our 8 months. That's about where it says we'll be at 800. So that'd be cool. I feel like, though, I'm going to set a bit of a goal here. I think we should try to beat that. I think we should try to hit 800 before then. We can try it. It's going to be a lot of work on my part as well, because I need to put higher quality videos out. But for a little while, my channel was like growing strong. It was like talking about, yeah, you're going to hit 1,000 by the end of this year, which I thought was crazy. And it's talking about I was going to hit 20,000 in 5 years. Of course, growth slowed down a lot since then. But it's like it just goes based off how my channel's growing right now. And it's predicting I'll have 1 million views by the middle of next year. Or not the middle of next year, but like a year and 8 months from now. So the beginning of 2021. Which would be kind of cool. Hit 1 million views like the same year of graduating college. But yeah, that's kind of that. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoyed the stream. I don't know what to say. Enjoyed the video. Leave me some ideas on Instagram and Twitter on any cool like POV videos you want me to do. We might have a bit of a thing going on with the Kia soon, a battle of sorts for who's the slowest in the family. Because my little brother and my dad have been talking mad crap, thinking of the Kia is like somehow faster than the truck. That 125 horsepower four-cylinder doesn't stand a chance, really. You guys know that. So we'll probably try to get that video out eventually. We'll probably try to go shoot something real quick and just goof off for a little while. But yeah, that's kind of that. I don't know when that'll happen, if it'll happen, but it'll be kind of just a funny video where we kind of settled that argument, because my dad and my brother are persistent that the Kia would absolutely destroy the truck in every regard. And then we got to get the Equinox out there, because we got to figure out what's like the slowest car in the family. I'm pretty sure it's the Kia. I feel like it's like Kia, Equinox, me, Dad. It's like that's like the tier list of the family when it comes to how fast the cars are. I don't count the van. The van actually is still here. If you guys haven't noticed, it's still up in the driveway. We're just trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. So you guys will see it tomorrow in the video in the background, obviously. But, oh, I never talked about why I stopped doing POV videos. So what happened is, with my DB Power camera, I broke this clip on the back. I don't want to close to the camera. You guys can kind of see it's like chipped on the corner here. So it had a hard time closing all the way, so I have to like be like super careful with it when I close it to make it seal properly like that, so it'll actually work. And I had to manage that, and I was having a hard time doing that for the longest time. And so yeah, it's broken right there. That's why I stopped doing POV videos for a little while. But yeah, that's kind of that. So we're gonna start doing POV videos again very soon. Because I know you guys, I think, kind of like those last year when I did that. I know the audio quality is great. I probably should buy a mic for this thing. But I really like this camera because it's cool. Because I have the head strap on, and the camera itself has a wireless attachment, which is this little wristband. And I can hit this gray button to record videos, and this red button to take a picture. So you guys will see tomorrow. I'll have it on my wrist, where I'll be, I'll like just have it on, and that's how I started the video and how I ended it. I just went with my wrist and turned the video off. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've been stalling. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. We're going to try to do another one probably next weekend before Captain and Octane. It might be at Hayden's house, though, because my sister and her cheer squad are having a huge like get-together here at the house, and I'm being kicked out of my own room because it's just going to be on the same floor as 20-something like teenage girls, which I understand. So just I don't know. Just I think they said it was more for my comfort because I don't know. I'm not good with like having a crap ton of people like right next to me. So yeah, so I probably won't even be here next Saturday because the Captain got obtained. So with all that said, anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will catch you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's videos. Like I said, I've only got one video filmed so far, which is unusual because last week, like the last couple of weeks, I've had multiple videos filmed in advance. But if you guys have any ideas for POV videos, be sure to let me know, and I will catch you guys later. Hope you guys enjoy tomorrow's video.